Tell us how you first learned about Harry.
Well, it was a journey coming to know about Harry and what he does. I was encouraged by my son as I got a little older because, as you know, our bodies start to tell us that we can't do some of the things as well as we used to, and short of not being able to do them at all, Charlie, who had met Dr. Harry, said that I should look into the stem cell procedure. Mostly it was my wrists and thumbs with arthritis. Anybody who's active has lower back issues and shoulder issues and things like that. But wanting to play golf, wanting to do the simplest daily things, wanting to hunt, wanting to throw a baseball, with my grandson, and things like that became difficult. And so I tried cortisone shots, I tried anti-inflammatories, and I just didn't get the relief I was looking for. And so when Charlie suggested that I look at Dr. Harry and the stem cell process, I have to admit that in the beginning I was very skeptical. I didn't know anything about it. I watched Harry's videos. What really got my attention is the presentations he made to a room full of doctors. So I came to realize that stem cell was widely accepted around the world, just not so much here. And I didn't understand that. And so I did more research. And after, I'm going to say 9 months of reading everything I get my hands on, I called Dr. Harry, and we talked for 30 minutes. And I was still a little skeptical, but having tried lots of other alternatives, I decided to give it a shot. And my wife went with me, and she was very much a skeptic. And I remember when we left to come home, her words were, I'm not a skeptic anymore. I believe this works. It's not that I felt immediate pain relief or discomfort relief, but she saw the process and she understood what was being done. And so a couple of months after I got home, it was amazing. I was able to do things that I just wasn't sure I'd be able to do again without pain.
You mentioned arthritis and some lower back pain. Was there anything that was that was severe pain, or was it all just sort of dull pain when you did things?
I don't know if you play golf, but for the golfer, one of the moves that's really important, and I love to play golf and I'm very competitive. One of the moves is when you have that club in your hand is up here, and there's a lot of pressure on this joint right here. And there was a time before I went out and had the process that I actually taped my hand all the way up with my thumb taped to my hand. And I could hardly hold the golf club in there. But I love the game so much and I love the competitiveness so much that that's what I had to do to play. And I'm not saying it was pretty, but at least I got to play. And so, all I can say, and my friends have seen it, firsthand. I can do things, picking up a Coke can. Not that I drink Coke. I know you'll edit that out, but that's okay. Picking up a cup of coffee or anything like that was difficult. Mostly this hand, because that's the hand that got all the work, but both. And we had MRIs to show, where the arthritis was. And I mentioned the cortisone shots a minute ago. They worked a little bit. First series I got worked a couple of months. Second series worked about half that time, and the third series didn't work, and so I had to search for another alternative. And fortunately, I found this.
When you started talking to friends, family, maybe even some doctors around here, what types of feedback? Because I know people watching this are going through the same thing, so I ultimately would love for them to hear, not everybody's on board at first, obviously, but like what sort of decisions do you end up having to make, and what sort of advice is everyone around you giving you looking at stuff?
The best advice I got from doctor friends was, I don't see a downside. Now, those are medical doctors who practice medicine as we know it. I also got the feedback when I would tell people that I was going to have this procedure, that they might, roll their eyes or just say nothing or just look at me with that funny stare. But when you're not able to do some of the things you want to do, or when it hurts to do some of the things you want to do, you're willing to investigate other alternatives. And I had to do that for myself, and I had to convince myself that it was worth it. A number of doctor friends that I have like to say the reason that we call this a medical practice is because there are still lots of things we don't know about the human body. And, stem cell and the effectiveness of stem cell treatment, after my research, I'm convinced that is one of the things that we don't have all the evidence of what it does or does not do. I can just tell you from my research and my personal experience, that it works. It worked for me. It worked so well for me that I have a younger sister who has osteoarthritis. And when you have that in your spine and it moves into your shoulders, it limits you from doing lots of things that you want to do. And she, like me, is very active. Again, after doing a lot of research, she went out just 6 months ago or 5 months ago and had the treatment. And it has changed her life. She's back doing the things that she always liked to do. Cindy and I both like to say that, now my mom had osteoarthritis, and she died a couple of years ago when she was 90, long, full life. But the last 8 or 10 years of her life could have been different if we knew about this. There's no guarantee, but we certainly would have given it a shot, but we didn't know about it, and so that's kind of the whole family picture and how we've used stem cells.
You did the full body stem cell makeover. Can you share what that is and what the process entailed?
Well, the process that I went through was before Dr. Harry started using umbilical cord cells. And so they withdrew the stem cells out of me. They actually drilled into the back of your, whatever this large bone is back, that coccyx, I don't want to say that, but whatever that bone. They actually take the stem cells out of you, out of the bone. So they have to drill in and get them. That process of healing was a lot longer than my understanding is that it takes if they don't have to do that and they use the umbilical cord cells. Then I was out for the process, and Dr. Harry showed me pictures of the injections into my spinal discs, cervical discs. He didn't show me the pictures of shoulders, elbows, hands, wrists, knees, hips, big toes. I found that interesting because I said, why big toes? He said, you'll understand because you use your big toe a lot more than you think. And of course, that was a learning experience for me. But when I woke up, I was, out or a little groggy from the anesthesia, but I didn't have any pain. Dr. Harry said that you could have some achy flu-like symptoms. I never had that. Some people do. My understanding from my sister, who had a different process, is that the healing process is much different and much quicker because you're not healing from taking actual cells out of your bones because the bones themselves have to heal. So I was up and around doing most everything I wanted to do in a week. You got to be careful because you have this energy and this belief that you can do anything you want, and you have to give the stem cells a chance to work. And so I think it's normal probably to do a little too much and go a little too far and then back off, and then take it a little more slowly. Cindy did it, I did it. I think that describes the process.
Yeah, how, like, from leaving home to going and coming back, how long was the process?
We went out, Kim and I went out on a Sunday evening to Salt Lake, and then drove up to Park City. Had the process on Monday. We stayed Tuesday, and then came home Wednesday morning. And that was at the recommendation, of Dr. Harry and his team.
Love it. I guess how soon were you able to get back playing golf?
Well, how soon was I able to get back playing golf? Dr. Harry told me 8 weeks. I will tell you that in 4 weeks, I was playing in a tournament. And I was listening to my body, but I felt good enough that I could play after 4 weeks.
Biggest changes you've seen since undergoing that surgery?
That's a good question. Biggest changes since undergoing the surgery. And we'll come back to that. If you got another one.
Yeah. I just know if don't have to take my thumb. Now it doesn't hurt when I
Oh,
take it.
I'm not. Yeah, well, that kind of stuff, I mean, I'm assuming goes without saying, but, the biggest changes since the surgery are, I remember what it felt like before I had the procedure. And so, am I more careful? Yes. I don't wear tape on my hand to play golf. I wear a small piece just around my wrist as protection. But all of the other symptoms, the lower back, I don't want to use the word pain, but inflammation. This right shoulder, I must have thrown 1 million baseballs in my life. My son grew up playing baseball and his friends, we had a batting cage at the house, and I was the machine. And so I couldn't sleep on it. I couldn't really use it as much as I wanted to. That went away. So we still have to be careful, Our bodies are still trying to tell us we can't do a lot of the things we used to do, but the stem cells help us to deal with that.
Cool. If a friend was looking into this, how would you discuss it with them? Would you recommend it? Would you just walk through the issues? How would you talk about it?
I have talked to maybe 10 people since I had the procedure about what I had done, because there's so many people in my age group that have aches and pains that they're just not able to find resolution of any kind, relief. I have had coffee with people. I've walked them through the process. I have given lots of people Dr. Harry's contact information because of what it did for me. And probably the closest case is my sister, who went and had a similar procedure just within 2 years of when I did, because she saw the relief that I had. So that's I've had lots of communication about it because of my success.
Yeah, I guess you send your wife and your sister. You believe?
Yes.
Would you consider another treatment down the road if needed?
I've already got another treatment scheduled. I sent Dr. Harry a note, and I'm gonna back up just for a second. When I originally went and had the treatment, one of my questions was, how long will it last? And the answer is, nobody really knows. 2 to 5 or 6 or 7 years, depending on the severity. And I'm 2 years out, and I'm also 2 years older. And so my question to Dr. Harry was, I would like to stay ahead of this, and so what does that look like? And he said, when you're comfortable or when you start to feel that it's time, your body will tell you. So I'm already scheduled to go back out and have the same procedure that I had, with the exception that they will use umbilical cord cells rather than my own stem cells.
Much easier. Great. Anything else you'd like to say about Harry, the experience that I didn't ask you about?
I think we've covered just about everything.